The work that I plan to show here in September and October is a collection of artwork that I've made over the last, I would say the last 45 years. And it encompasses drawing and printmaking and watercolor. Might even show some of the alkyd paintings that I did some years ago. And some books, artist books. Those are the primary media by which I investigate my research agenda. My work is largely thematic. It investigates certain subjects. I'll have a subject in mind, and I'll research things that influence that subject. And a number of influences. I've been influenced by book artists, book illustrators like the Lindbergh brothers. I've been influenced by artists Chardin, 17th century still life artists, more contemporary people, William Bailey, Giacometti. It's a long list, it really is. So I'm influenced by art and artists, but I'm also influenced by my own personal life. So, I mean, that's the inspiration for most of us, right? It's our lives and what happens in our lives, and other artists whose work we've seen and liked and enjoyed. So, hopefully my work is engaging enough so that a viewer can look at the work, become engaged with the work, begin to read, decipher, interpret what I've shown. For the most part, the work is representational, although going back through the retrospective, there probably will be a few more abstract pieces. I was working abstractly for a while, but for the most part, representational. And as I say, hopefully the work is engaging enough that the viewer will come back to that piece over and over again. Hopefully it has a staying power, and the viewer will begin to see more and more as he or she studies the work. My work has changed over time. I started out exclusively with representation. I think early on, the first drawing class I mentioned earlier was a figure drawing class, and I just became engaged in that. And so representational, figurative in the beginning, and then it became more abstract. The human figure was still a subject, but the work was fairly abstract. And then over time, even I included still life as a subject matter, again representational, and then a period of abstraction with that. And ultimately came back to, I guess I'm a representational artist. That's what I need to be, what I want to be. So it's gone through that representation to abstraction and back to representation 2 or 3 times. Pattern is of great importance to me. It's as is composition. Most of the work that I make is based upon principles of composition based in mathematics and nature. So that's important. Pattern is important. But to get to the nature of your question, I think the best way for me to answer that would be to describe one of the pieces. So some years ago, it would have been 1990, early 1990s, I became interested in time and calendars and what happens with all of that. And so I did a piece based upon the month of February. And so I looked at what was important about February, both to me personally as well as on a more universal level, and made this drawing, 24 by 36 graphite drawing, that I intend to put in the shows with everything else. And that's just kind of the way I go about it. I might take a different theme. There'll be another piece, 4 pieces based upon the 4 seasons. So I don't remember which one I started with, might have been winter, and so I looked at winter and I looked up all I could find about that subject, what was connected to the season, and what people thought about winter, and then compiled a drawing based upon what I found out. And I did that with the other seasons, and I'll do that with whatever subject it is whatever, I guess theme would be a better way to describe that. Whatever theme is interesting to me at the time, then I'll go through and look at all kinds of things, online, in books, things that I've experienced personally, and then try to get all of those invested into that drawing or print or whatever it is I'm making, the book arts that I mentioned. I guess if we were to discuss printmaking, my forte, I don't even have to think about this, it would be lithography. That was my, after I found out I wanted to learn how to draw, the teacher I had was also in printmaking, and so he kind of led me over into the printmaking area, and gosh, it was fantastic. All the things that I could do and make, and yeah, it was great. I also like the idea of the collaborative aspect of printmaking. Of course, at Normal Editions Workshop, I was collaborating with artists all the time to make prints. But my first experience, I was still in undergraduate school, so that must have been 1972 or 71. We had a visiting artist come in, Ray George, who taught at ISU for a very long time. Ray George came in to teach a summer class, and his expertise was etching, but he wanted to make a lithograph, and me being young and full of it said, well, yeah, I can do that, I can help you with that. So that was the first one I did, first collaborative experience that I did, and found out I really liked it, and I could do it, so it was great. It's important for me to have a show at McLean County because I've been invested in this art center for years and years and years. I've participated in I don't know how many group shows over the years, and I was very pleased to be a part of that. But I was exceptionally pleased when I was offered this retrospective. It's important to me to show here because of the time and investment and the people that I've met and worked with here. So it's a fabulous opportunity. Glad to do it.